We're ready?
I think we're on.
Awesome.
Did you get the I sent you the link so you could see the comments yourself. I don't know if it's going to work, but at least we tried.
I could just keep it pulled up.
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Let's rock.
Wait for some people to get into this chat. So what's going on?
I'm sore, Marco. I'm back in the gym. This is week 5.5 for me.
Yeah. So what's going on?
I'm sore, Marco.
There we go. We're good. We're live. You're listening to the Bleedbigblue podcast, this ever-evolving experiment. I have notifications on, so if you subscribe or like or donate or do anything, a little pop-up will come up and we'll all know. So you're sore, huh? Went to the gym? What'd you work out today?
Chest and back.
Oh, look at that combo. Look at that combo.
The pretty boy muscles.
Yeah.
Did a little legs. Tomorrow's abs and shoulders, so that should be fun.
Abs and shoulders. When is for me, every day at the gym is a arms and chest workout. No matter what I'm doing, I'm working out legs. I'm like,
Marco's just there with 20-pound weights. Let's get it, baby.
I'm like the crew that I run with. Everyone's they're all juice head tremendous, and I'm like, my workout was lifting their plates. I was like, ugh, ugh.
You're like, I'm just there for the conversations, man.
I was like,
oh, that's great, man. That's great.
Yeah, so my workout was lifting up their plates. I was like, oh, really? Another one? Okay, sounds good.
You want another 45? All right, we can do this.
Yeah, I think I see one unused one all the way down to the other side of the gym.
I'll be back in 20 minutes.
Then I could go beg that 400-pound man. Can I borrow his 45? And I'll lug it all the way over here, too.
That's my buddy. We work out, and I'll go up, when I'm doing a different set, I'll raise it, however much each time.
Yeah.
And I love him to death, but he can't keep up, but he'll try. So I'll be on there with we'll be doing flies, and he's sitting there and he's just talking to me as he's squeezing. I'm like, your form is awful. He's like, don't worry about it. We're good. I'm like, all right, bro. He's a Dolphins fan, so I give him, sympathy whenever we do anything. I feel like he deals with enough. Then again, we've been pretty awful for a while, so.
Yeah, I know, right?
Freddie Smith says, where's James?
You could see it in the chat. James, I gave him the invite. I don't know if he's coming in today. It's there. It's open.
Cool.
I'm actually worried about Dave Gettleman's health because I think James might put a hit on him.
Oh,
His
God.
level of frustration with Dave Gettleman is
through the roof.
Through the roof.
I gotta say though, I know we're gonna dive into the presser, so I guess that's a good segue. Mm-hmm. I still get the same feeling I had when I had spoken to you originally after the whole transition with Shermer and everything. It really feels like this is Judge's show, and Gettleman's kind of like a glorified scout. I mean, obviously he's in charge of stuff, but I don't know. I get the vibe that Gettleman's not exactly running the show as much as he may have been with Shermer, and I don't know. I just
why do I don't agree. Why do you feel that?
When he talks, I mean, even just today, obviously Gettleman's not a great talker. We talked about it yesterday, and we've spoken about it before. When it comes to his communication skills to the media, it's pretty awful. He even made a couple jokes about it today, like he always does. But I don't know. I've been getting that vibe from Mayor's first press conference when Gettleman spoke. Hearing the way Judge speaks, I think they're giving him a lot more, I guess, rope, if you would, than they have for the last couple coaches. After Coughlin left, everything obviously has been in disarray. But and even just, I guess to give you a specific example, today when they asked Gettleman about Daniel Jones, and you got Pat and all these people beating the drum. Are you going to draft a quarterback? Is he your franchise guy? And he's like, well, you heard Judge. Everybody starts with a clean slate. So it just, I don't know. Maybe that's just me reading into something, but that's just the feeling that I get, that Judge is more in charge. When it comes to the overall direction of what they're trying to do. And a lot of people kill Gettleman for a lot of things that I think is pretty fair, but I just get that vibe.
Yeah, I think he's still in charge. they gave him like prior to today's press conference, which I didn't like listen to every single word, but I saw Gettleman's whole thing and I saw most of Judge's.
Mm-hmm.
But in prior interviews, they were like, he's like, it's collaborative. It's a collaborative. Like, yeah, who gets last say? He's like, me. So.
Yeah, but I mean, at the end of the day, is he going to say anything else? He's the general manager. I mean, you got to save face. And that was another thing I really liked about Judge's press conference when he was talking about player injuries. It was near the end of it, so I don't know if you caught it, but he said each player is an individual. So a lot of times when players get hurt or whatever and a coach gets asked, hey, how long is this guy going to be out? He said, I don't like to speak on those things because you could say a hamstring injury. Davey's got a hammy is what he said. So a doctor could say that's a 4-week injury, but maybe he takes 7 weeks to come back. But then a guy 4 or 5 weeks later has the same injury and he comes back in 2 weeks. So now you're associating that player with less toughness, more toughness, whatever it may be. And there's now a narrative about that individual person. And he spoke about how everybody is an individual. I think that goes back to his philosophy with players and how they're utilized and, using players to their strengths and not their weaknesses. So I appreciated that because it spoke to individuality and respecting each individual according to what's actually going on and not, allowing the media to get clickbait. And, they spoke about not talking about individual players. He won't give anybody a specific ringing endorsement. I love that.
I like Joe Judge, but he better win because feeding the media nothing and just cliches. Mm-hmm. We're going to play hard, smart, fast football. Like,
yeah.
I told you earlier on Twitter, Ben McAdoo started the same way. And that went south quick when you're losing.
Yeah, well, McAdoo also, I don't think he could command a room.
I believe, I think he has better, Judge has better command of a room.
And also, look at where Judge came from. Special teams. I love that he's worked with every facet of the team, offense, defense, special teams. He knows what each player is capable of doing because he had to be able to utilize them to the best of their abilities. So I think that's going to speak to how he uses players on game days. He built kind of like a farm system of coaches. One of my chats I'm in on Twitter, Giants chat, a couple of the guys had said that, and I think it's a great idea. It's really what he built out. It's a lot of people were freaking out about the outside linebacker coach interviewing in other places. It's like we got guys to fill in. I don't worry about, next year if one of the coaches gets a promotion somewhere else and leaves, like we're going to be high and dry. I think we're in a good position with the staff that he's put together, and it speaks to the way they're going to run their scouting department, which, like we said yesterday, they fired 2 old school scouts. I guess they weren't in with the computer folk, and they're gone.
Those computer folk, man, they are running things.
Gettleman, you heard he jumped on somebody about that today?
No.
Somebody had said, I don't know who it was. It was hard to hear who was asking the questions, but someone had said, how has your philosophy differed now and before with analytics? And he did his usual ha ha ha, his laugh. And he said, you guys, there's no throwaway lines. He goes, just because I don't talk about something doesn't mean we don't utilize it. And I think it is pretty stupid to think that there's no analytic department within the Giants organization whatsoever previous to this year. And obviously it's something that they're diving deeper into, but maybe they need to utilize it more. But I agree with what he said. People want to kill him over everything he says. I think it's a little overblown.
Yeah, well, you keep putting your foot in your mouth.
Yeah, that's true. If I say stupid shit to my wife all the time, eventually I get yelled at.
Right. So with Judge, like I was saying, he has that McAdoo vibe to me. I don't know. Just like the cliche answers is what drives me crazy. Yeah. I'd rather just be honest than give the cliches.
I mean, he spoke to it. At one point someone asked him, I don't know if it was about the injury question or if it was specific to him talking about just players in general and their depth chart. He said everybody's at a blank slate because I'm not going to judge someone based off of another scheme that they were used in previous regime or whatever that may have been. We have a question. Cruisin 26. I don't get all this Joe Judge love. Can this guy accomplish something first? Yeah, I agree. I think my cautious optimism for him just comes from the fact that I like the way he talks. I think he knows football. You could see that he's, he's a football guy, and I think he's very detail oriented. His process with hiring the staff proved to that. How long it took, how detailed he was about it. He was patient. Listen, I've said it. You can search on my feed. I've made comments even just today. if he doesn't win games, it doesn't matter. When he starts winning games, I'll be excited. But I think so far it's something to kind of hang your hat on. It's like, hey, this guy knows what he's talking about. He seems like he's building something. Now we'll see if it translates to wins. But we still have free agency and the draft, which are two of my favorite parts of the year. So, there's a lot to happen before we're on the field playing football in September.
Yeah. Oh, man, he better come out and win. That room is going to get smaller and smaller, and it's going to get hotter and hotter. Dave Gettleman is already on the hot seat. It's as of now. We look at this. I guess the makeup of this team right now. We said it yesterday when we talked. They need playmakers at each level of the defense. And Gettleman spoke to it today. It's complementary football. You have guys up front that take pressure off the guys in the back and vice versa. So you have a good secondary. It's going to help your defensive line when, maybe they can't get home as quick. Yeah. Naturally. And I'll tell you, this will probably rile up some people. But I saw something today. Justin Pennick, I don't know if you follow him on Twitter. Maybe.
He's with Talking Giants, Bobby Skinner. Mm-hmm. He put something out that was pretty interesting. Now, I know sacks are the end-all, be-all for people. If they see sacks are high, they love a player. If they see him low.
We love pressure. We love pressure only.
Okay.
I don't want sacks, only pressure.
So listen to this. So he
never get home.
Well, we already had two of the kings of those. So
listen, we're gonna get them both at the same time.
So you have Leonard Williams on a 16-game pace and Ngakoue on a 16-game pace. Mm-hmm. Leonard Williams, 12 QB hurries to Ngakoue's 10, 20 QB knockdowns to 9, 34 QB pressures to 27, 22 QB hits to 15, and 52 to 41. Now, sack-wise, I believe he had like 2.5 this year, maybe less. Leonard Williams, I'll look that up while I'm talking. And then Ngakoue, do you know what he had? I think it was 13.
Yeah, around there.
So obviously the sack numbers, that's what's valuable, right? That's what's going to change the game. He had how many forced fumbles? Was it 3 or 4?
That's his main thing. He's had 3 or 4 every year he's been in the league.
Oh, so he had 8 sacks this year. I apologize. I was very far off on that number. I don't know why I thought it was higher.
Unique?
What's that?
He had 8 this year?
Yannick, yeah. Ngakoue. He had 9.5 the year before, 12 the year before that. So, 8 sacks, that's good. Is that $22 million? When you look at the numbers from a holistic perspective, what Leonard Williams was able to create from a pressure perspective, QB hits, would you rather spend $14 million a year or $22 million a year for a guy that's going to get, maybe he'll have 3 or 4 more sacks, but is it really going to be that much of a difference when you can get a guy on the edge that's able to complement a guy like Leonard Williams, Dexter Lawrence, Dalvin Tomlinson in the middle because they're building something formidable there? Just something to think about. I'm not saying it was a great trade. I'm not saying that I want to re-sign him, and I'm not saying he's better than Ngakoue. I'm just saying, you should look at everything from a holistic perspective before, you say this person's great, this person sucks, whatever it may be.
No, I think he's a good player. It's what we had to do to get him.
Yeah.
And what was a quote by Gettleman today? Drive me crazy.
Oh, I'll get killed if I don't re-sign him, but I have rhino skin.
Yeah, that even before that, he said he made an error where he wouldn't sign guys mid-season.
Yes, and he sees that and he's fixing it. Yeah.
Yeah. Why did you trade for Leonard Williams if you're not going to re-sign a guy mid-season? Mm-hmm. You traded to get him. So you could have a leg up to re-sign him and give him a franchise tag.
Yeah.
And give him a contract. And avoid tagging him going through this whole process that we're in now. And lost picks. It doesn't make sense.
It's a very fair point. And I don't know. It's hard for me to sit there and say, like, hey, a guy's completely oblivious. He doesn't know what the hell he's doing. Because, he's been in the business for as many years as he has. They have information that they're not going to always share. But you're right. It doesn't make a lot of sense. Why trade for a guy if you're going to put yourself in a position where you're almost backed into a corner? Which I don't really believe that they are. But
if his GM philosophy, what she said was, I won't negotiate players coming in mid-season contract negotiations. Why are you trading for a guy where you exactly have to do that? Where you wanted to put an eye on him, see how he would work in your system. Makes no sense. None.
He didn't. Well, obviously they didn't do that, so he didn't have to sign him mid-season. I think he put himself in a position where they have restricted rights towards him, right? So if they want to put a transition tag on him, see what the market values him at, they can go ahead and do that. Or if they want to go ahead and franchise tag him and put him in a position where they can say, play your ass off and we'll see what you can do.
Or you could have waited.
And see when he hit free agency. Yeah. Well, I mean, a lot of people talked about, I forget who it was that tweeted it out. I don't know if it was, I can't remember his name. It was one of the guys on Twitter, one of the guys from ESPN. He was talking about Eric Armstead. You know, a guy like that, you were able to bring a guy like that in, you know, he probably would have had more of an effect on your team defensive-wise, you know, creating pressures and sacks versus a guy that's not getting home as much. So, yeah, listen, Marco, I'm not disagreeing with you. I don't think that it was a great move. I think that if he doesn't re-sign him, it's an even worse move. Like we've said, I mean, there's been some good with Gettleman, but there's been a lot of bad, and unfortunately we've been losing a lot, so the bad is going to be amplified even more. If we were a 11-win team this year, would we be killing them as much?
No, because we got 11 wins.
Yeah, that's the reality of it. Winning cures all things. People are complaining about everything right now because there's a lot to complain about. So I respect it. I get it. I'm pissed off too. I've been a fan, you know, my entire life. Like I've told you, my family's got season tickets for the last 50-something years. I mean, we're invested in this. You know, we care. It's infuriating to spend a lot of money and time and energy on a team that doesn't feel like they really care. But you know, I don't think John Mayer doesn't care. I just think he's been incompetent for quite some time, unfortunately, and he's ran the show pretty awful.
Cruising 26. I don't want Simmons. He's not a pass rusher. Regardless how many sacks he got in college, he's an inside linebacker with good coverage skills. Not great.
I disagree with that. I mean, if you look at his numbers and his stats, if you watch him on tape, I mean, take away a lot of people say, oh, we can't look at only stats. Watch him on tape. The guy's all over the field. You have to literally stop the tape before each play to see where is Simmons lined up. You know?
I get what he's saying. There is something there that has me
check.
Not worried, but cautious, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
But I saw a video of him beating out his running back in like a 40-yard dash.
Etienne, yeah, I mean, like guy runs like
whoa.
a 4.5. If the dude puts on another 10 pounds and he's still running like in the 4.5 range, like come on, dude, he's disgusting.
Yeah, but is he a football player?
Who, Simmons?
Is he a football player or is he?
Yes, he's a football player. Watch the tape, Marco.
I know the answer.
No, I get. Believe me, I get the reservations behind him. I have a couple buddies that are in the same ballpark where they're like, hey, like if we're gonna trade down, maybe to like 8 or 9, and he's there, like cool, grab him. Go ahead and grab yourself a offensive tackle with your next pick. Like that makes sense, but. I don't know, man. I told you yesterday. I've said it for weeks. I think that there's three players in this draft that are pretty much in the same conversation as of game breakers, and that's Chase Young, Isaiah Simmons, and Jeff Okudah. And I think anyone that comes on could really be able to, you know, maybe not transform the defense, but be that building block to take us to that next level that we're looking to get to.
Yeah, I think those offensive tackles we can get a little lower. I don't think we have to wait at 4.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've looked at a lot of Andrew Thomas because I was scared of what people were saying about his footwork. I think he's given up like 36 total pressures, like ever. It's pretty disgusting.
3 years in
like over 1,000+ snaps. It's pretty disgusting. I'll check that because I don't want to be wrong on that one. I think Bobby Skinner, actually. Bobby, if you guys aren't following Bobby Skinner or Justin Penick, you should. They're really good follows. They know a lot of their stuff, and they do a lot of research, and they're just good people. But yeah, let me see if I could find it, because he had tweeted that out. I forget when it was. But anyway, regardless, I don't love taking a tackle at 4. I understand people's thinking behind it, just based on the simple fact that...
Based on the simple fact of boredom?
Well, I mean, it's the second most important position in football, right? I mean, you got your blind side to protect your quarterback. Like
it is.
You know,
I will give you that.
So, I think that I get the argument. I just don't think there's somebody that I would. If we're going to go best player available, I'll say it this way: I don't think that's going to be a tackle. That's the best way I think I could put it, based off of Gettleman's philosophy and what it sounds like Joe Judge thinks too. If they don't trade back, best player available is going to be a guy like if Jeff Okudah doesn't go 3. Chase Young doesn't go 2, one of those guys, or if they deem Isaiah Simmons that guy, which I'm just chomping at the bit to find out, what he's gonna do at the combine, because I think he's gonna destroy it. And I know it's just glorified underwear.
Yeah, no, he's gonna look good at the combine.
Yeah.
He's gonna.
You remember what happened with the tackle from Baltimore, Orlando Brown? Remember he fell to the 3rd round?
What was up?
I think it was Orlando Brown.
What's the backstory? He fell because of the poor combine, or
he had one of the worst combines in history. I'm serious, like literally one of the worst combines. I forget what his 40 was. It was atrocious. I mean, it was really, really bad. And teams are like, oh, he's a bust, don't touch him. And this year he was in the Pro Bowl. So, at the end of the day, like, coaching is what really matters. Obviously, you have to be able to vet players and find out, like, who they are as a person. Do they have the desire to be successful? Do they have the, will to push past whatever issues they may have? Like Eric Flowers, I think if we would have put him at guard, obviously we drafted him high that we wanted him at left tackle, but we put him at guard maybe 2 years earlier, who knows? He looked pretty good in Washington this year. Who knows what he would have done for us if he would have been our lock-in left guard for the next 10 years. You know what I mean? It's about building with confidence, but understanding that players are supposed to go at certain places, and you can't force something into a place that it's not supposed to go. That comes back to what we were saying earlier.
Raymond Simmons at 6, center at day 2.
Yeah, a guy like Cushenberry or what's the other guy's name?
You're more worried about Jalapeno than Nate Solder?
I think I've just come to terms that Nate Solder is going to be a starter. I just this is the reality of it. I understand what Joe Judge is saying, and I respect it. But you're not going to keep a guy on a roster making $23 million and he's going to be on the bench for 16 weeks. It's just not going to happen. I mean, that's just simple business. So maybe they trade him.
Oh, one second. What's up? That's the control room.
I just got a contact from mine.
What are they saying in the control room?
When are you finishing? That's usually the question. What was I going to say? Yeah, I just come to terms that Nate Solder is probably going to be the starter. It's just the reality of someone making that kind of money on a team. So, yeah, I think Jalapeno, as bad as he was, he's coming off. This is now his second serious injury he's going to have in the last 2.5 years. Yep. Yeah, I don't feel comfortable with him being the starter. And Spencer Pulley, when he played, wasn't very good. So yeah, I'd be pretty adamant that unless a guy like Austin Jackson is there in the second round and they feel confident that they could build him into a formable. If he's a right tackle, great. If he's a left tackle, great. Whatever. If he could be the guy in one of those positions for the next however many years, awesome, take him. But if they feel like a guy like Cushenberry, who I know his strength is more pass pro, so I'm not sure how they feel about his transition to the NFL in a run blocking scheme. I don't know, but I do think that center is something that they need to focus on.
Oh, L.I. Yankee King, we need to make a lot of trades to get picks.
Oh God, here we go. Who we trading today?
Uncharacteristic of him.
I mean, I would be shocked if he said Sterling Shepard for a second or a third.
Right.
Or Evan Ingram for a second or a third. Honestly, I feel offensively, and I think we had talked about this. I don't feel like there's a lot that they need outside of, obviously, Solder needs to play better. Right tackle, I really didn't hate Remmers there last year. If you watch the games, he played pretty good for what he was making.
He's all right, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he was serviceable is really the best way to put it. If Nick Gates or Big George is able to be put into that spot, I hope that we already have it on a roster, because that would be one less need that we need to fill in the draft or free agency.
Big George is on the practice squad, right?
He was on the IR. I believe it was a concussion all year.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah. But if you look at his combine numbers last year, my buddy Candyman on Twitter, Chris, he was saying, his numbers, you look at
Candyman.
Yeah, he calls himself the Candy Man. He's got John Candy as his picture, but he knows his football, man. He was talking about it. If you look at the numbers that he put up at the combine, his 40, his bench press, his vertical, everything. If any of these tackles put up those numbers at the combine, they're going in the top 5. So he's got the intangibles, to be good. It's just, his 7th round pick. Is that guy going to turn into something serviceable, or is he going to turn into, just a good backup tackle at some point? But my hope is that we have somebody on the roster now, or we can find someone for right tackle. But I think center needs to be addressed immediately, because I don't believe left tackle is going to be something they're going to change this year. That's just me. I mean, I could be 1,000% wrong, and I'm fine with that.
Go with defense.
Yeah.
Go with defense. Yeah.
So who's at this point in time, I mean, based off of what you heard today and, I guess your gut, I mean, what do you think? I mean, do you feel like with all the quarterback needy teams, I know Indianapolis supposedly is really in love with Jordan Love. I know there's a lot of chit-chat about Herbert. Do you feel like there's enough QB needy teams and we're in the right position that, say, Chase Young does go to and the Redskins refuse a trade, which, then we can listen to everybody make fun of them for the next 3 years about how they didn't give up all that opportunity to get a player.
They don't have any picks this year. They have minimal picks going in. I don't think they have a
second round pick.
I don't think they have they have a first. I don't think they have a second. They have a third. I saw it the other day, but it was maybe 5 picks.
Let's see.
But no, I think even with I think they're staying with Chase Young. It's smart for them to trade down a little, but.
Well, I mean, you look at their team, it's the same as ours. It's opposite. Their defense, they have a lot of good pieces there. Their cornerbacks are very dry now. You look, they just released Josh Norman and was it Dunbar?
Hold on. Our priority should be, from Cruising 26, our priority in the Super Chat, our priority should be to protect and develop Jones.
Of course. I totally agree. But like I said, if we're taking best player available, I don't believe if they stay at 4, that's going to be a tackle. And I don't think they're going to reach on one. I just don't see that happening. I think Gettleman's philosophy is speaks to that exactly. Now, if they trade down 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 picks, okay, then they're probably going to take a tackle. Unless a guy like Isaiah Simmons just somehow fell, which I think they would go Simmons in that scenario and then grab a tackle with their next pick, maybe trade back up a few spots with some of the picks they were able to grab. I don't know, man. I was really sold on them trading down for a while, and now I just don't know if it's even going to happen.
Wait, I'm still looking. I went to look up the picks, and I never actually looked it up.
Yeah, I couldn't find the exact number.
Okay, first round, they have a first, a third, a fourth, a fifth, and a 7th. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 5 picks total.
So say it again. They had a first.
They have a first, they have a third, a fourth, a fifth, and a 7th. 5 picks in total. After you're picking 2, you're not picking for a long time. Pack it up, go home, unless you're trading.
Well, and that's the thing. I mean, do you see them coming in there and not? I'm sorry, I was responding to a text. Do you see them coming? Do you see Del Rio and Rivera coming in there with that minimal amount of picks with all the needs they have and saying we're going to take Chase Young and we're just a couple of years out? Or do you see them saying, we're going to rebuild the right way, we're going to trade back, get some picks, and
they don't even have GM, right? Washington still hasn't filled that. They said they're going to do it after the draft.
Yeah, so Rivera's running the show.
So we're like, what?
If the reports are true, and Daniel Snyder and Rivera really love this kid Chase Young, and he's not working out at the combine, that could speak to them saying, "Hey, we're taking you."
Yeah, I heard something that Rivera was like, "I'd rather have 1 A+ player than 2 B+ or something like that." So that's basically saying I'm taking the best guy on the board rather than trading down.
I mean, look what Luke Kuechly did for that defense. When you have a guy that's really able to be that centerpiece for your defense, it does change the way they play. Now, I don't know. It's tough because that's different positions, right? Luke Kuechly's a middle linebacker, Chase Young's a defensive end. But at the end of the day, if Chase Young is as good as advertised, they already have a pretty decent defense. He's only going to make them better. So maybe they just accept the fact that offensively it's going to be a developmental year.
Yeah.
It's not unrealistic. I know I talked about it last night, but the Lions, I think, is another wild card too, with the situation there with Patricia and the GM, where they're basically kind of coaching for their lives, coaching and managing for their lives this year.
So that's why I think they would. That's the team that I think would trade back.
Yeah, I agree. But
leaves Okuda like right here.
I would be very happy, and it's funny because a couple weeks ago I was really against us taking a cornerback. I was like, no, it's a stupid idea. Then I started looking at it, and one of the guys I follow on Twitter, Ben, him and I were DMing, and he was just giving me some his perspective, his insight. He made a really good point about it, and it's what I've said to you. It's, you're able to move Baker to the 2. If you have a true shutdown cornerback, it changes the way your defense plays. It changes everything. I think Nicky Streaks was Nicky Stakes or Nicky Streaks?
Stakes.
Nicky Stakes. What he was talking about last night. A true lockdown corner is going to change the way you scheme for teams. Teams had to play the Patriots differently because they knew you can't throw where Stephon Gilmore is going to be. You literally just can't. You saw what Denzel Ward did year one, what Marshawn Lattimore did for the Saints. Good lockdown, Jalen Ramsey, good lockdown cornerbacks change the way you play teams. So I don't think it's unrealistic for us to go cornerback. People could say, oh, that's stupid. We have so much invested in our secondary already. But what did we say when we first got on? Your back end helps your front end. So if we have guys like Leonard Williams, Dalvin Tomlinson, Zoe Carter, all these guys, even Marcus Golden comes back, if they're a half a second from getting to the quarterback every play.
And now you give them that. Right.
Now you have those 2 lockdown cornerbacks. Well, guess what? They're starting to actually get home a little more often. James, he made a point a couple months ago about Jalen Ramsey when he was saying we should trade for him. Same perspective. You know what I mean? If you have a shutdown cornerback and a guy like DeAndre Baker can grow into his role and he's utilized correctly, I mean, not many teams have that kind of duo. I remember when Jalen Ramsey and Bouye, how do you say his name?
Jalen Ramsey and
AJ Bouye, is that right?
Bouye?
Yeah, the cornerback from Jacksonville. I think he's getting released. But a couple years ago when they went to the AFC, they had 2 basically shutdown cornerbacks, and their defense was elite because of it. Now they had great linebackers, great defensive line. They had a good secondary as a whole. But I think, it's just something to think about for people because I know a lot of people I'll say something like that and people lose their shit. They're like, we cannot take a cornerback at 4. Got to be open to it if he's really a shutdown corner.
No, I think 4 is a prime spot if the guy is like a shutdown. Those are one of the 4 main positions in football that you have to assure you have a good player in there.
Yeah, and a lot of people will argue that, but I think after left tackle, it's kind of a toss up between some people will say edge. Yeah, some people will say some people will even say middle linebacker, depending on the type of scheme you run. I think having a guy that like a Luke
pass rush first,
Yeah. I mean, like I use Luke Kuechly as the example because he's my favorite linebacker. I know he's retired now, but he's a perfect example. If you have the opportunity to get a guy like him or Bobby Wagner, you're picking them 10 out of 10. It doesn't matter who's on the board.
Yeah. No, so Okuda, I think the Giants. I don't know. I think I'm falling in love with the guy that I'm currently looking at because 2 weeks ago, if you would have asked me, I'd have been like Simmons the whole way. Coming off the bowl game and the whole thing, and then I was like, all right, let me look at other options because just to see what's out there. And
why did you switch off off of Simmons? Was it just because of the game and how well he played? And
yeah, I was impressed. I was like, this guy's all over the field, man. He's making plays like
everywhere. Yeah, he does it all.
But I'm like, love the one you're with. I started watching Jeff Okuda. I was like, look at this guy.
So cruising 26, it just makes sense. It just makes too much sense not to draft a no tackle. You help your 2 biggest stars on the offense by drafting a no tackle.
Yeah, they might draft an offensive tackle. It doesn't mean that they're going to draft him with the 4th pick.
Yeah, and that's just the reality of it. I think a lot of people want to get a guy because they want an offensive lineman. Listen, When's the last time the Giants had a really good offensive line? 2006? And it wasn't even that great that year. It was good, but it wasn't like elite.
Yeah, and I saw Eli getting beat up then.
Yeah, so, I mean, this is the reality of it. You have a young quarterback, you got a running back, you're trying to build that offense to be able to run the ball. Obviously, you want to develop Daniel Jones the right way. Gettleman made a point today. Last I checked, a quarterback can't throw the ball while he's on his back. Mm-hmm. So I understand that, but I just don't think the best player available is going to be offensive lineman, regardless of who it is. Now, maybe Andrew Thomas comes out and just blows them away, or maybe Becton rises, or Wills, or Werves, or whoever it is they deem as the guy. Maybe they do fall in love and they take him. I don't know. But it just, as of right now today, like I said, the three guys that we've been talking about are the guys that I think would blow them away.
We need to give Corey Ballantyne and DeAndre Baker a chance.
Well, they got a chance. They just won't be starting cornerbacks.
Yeah, one's going to be DeAndre Baker would be.
Yeah, I think Baker's definitely going to he'll have a role, but I don't feel comfortable going into the season with him as the one.
Yeah, Ballantyne would be your third, and he would be constantly on the field.
Yeah. Nickel packages, you're able to utilize him in different places. He's got a lot of speed. But, dude, you watched him last year, and maybe it was scheme, maybe it was lack of preparation, maybe it was being a rookie. But, dude, I mean, he was mauling people, and they would go after him. I remember the Eagles game. I think it was like 9 plays in a row. They just kept throwing to his guy, and they were completing passes to practice squad wide receivers. I mean, I understand he was a rookie, and people say, oh, he'll get better. Yeah, we thought Eli Apple would get better, too, and what happened? We traded him.
He got better. On New Orleans.
Yeah, he's a free agent now. Another good trade by Gettleman.
Everyone saw that one coming.
Hey, when he got that trade, people were like, yo, all right, I can get behind this one.
Later.
Yeah, get off my team, bro. We got like a 4th and something for him, didn't we?
Yeah, 4th.
Yeah,
was it a 4th? No, I think
it was a 4th, and I think we got a 7th.
Man, that's like 2 years now. 2 years already?
Yeah. Yeah, now he's a free agent. 5 tackles might be gone by the time we draft in the second round. It's possible. Love will be a secondary beast. Anthony Seals. Yeah, I agree. I think the thing about Love that I really like I said to you yesterday, no pun intended, I'd love to sign a guy like Trey Boston, put him at safety and push Love to the nickel, because then you're completing 2 moves at the same time. You sign a guy, you put him at safety, now you're able to move Love to the nickel, and you have that versatility where Love can move around the defense as well. What do we got?
Here we go.
Oh my God! Listen, what's his name? L.I. Yankee King. What 22? Whatever. They're not trading Saquon. It's not happening. They're just not going to do it. It's not happening.
He's hitting us up on multiple accounts.
Oh my God! He's the chat. It's frozen. I can't even see any other questions. Guys, he was a rookie. Chill out. He didn't even play at all. We need to give him a chance to start. I can't see who said that. I guess they're talking about Ballantyne. No, it's like I said. I mean, like I said, I just you got to look at it from this perspective too, guys. You're not going into the season with a guy that very obviously was not ready to play cornerback as your number 2, DeAndre Baker, who there's a lot of question marks around. Yes, he got better as the season went on. His numbers, if you look at them statistically from PFR or PFF, like they break it down and they show you, yeah, he did improve. But you go into the season as those are your starters, you're kind of setting yourself up for failure. You need to bring a veteran in. If you have an opportunity to bring a guy like Okudah in, you do it. It's just as simple as that. You make your strength your strength.
Plus, like, Ballantyne was what, 5th, 6th round pick?
Yeah, the guy, he was a special teamer. You want him to be your number 2? I mean, personally, I just don't get that. I'm not saying don't give him a chance. Like, sure, great. If he plays well and he gets meaningful playing time, I'm all for it. I love the guy. But I'm not sitting here saying I'm ready for him to be my cornerback 2 to enter the season. I think that's a little wishful thinking.
So, officially, we like Corey Ballantyne. We very much like Corey Ballantyne. I'm going to see him in the chat in a little bit. See if he watched the show like last time.
Did Corey Ballantyne watch the show?
No, but I'm going to find out after I look at the stats to see what's going on.
LI Yankees is hitting us up on multiple platforms to say we aren't going to contend. What's the difference?
We aren't going to contend. What's the difference? So then, you only want to talk off season. You don't want to even.
Yeah, you just want to. You're in ultimate rebuild mode.
Yeah, just
so we're gonna tear down mid rebuild to rebuild again. I like it. That's interesting. Cruisin's 26. I prefer Okuda over Simmons, but I definitely want an O tackle. I agree. I love Okuda. I really do. If they pick him, I think it'll be the one time in a couple of years where I'm just gonna sit there and feel satisfied. Like, we know what we're getting. It's a position of need. It's a great player. Seems like he really loves football. You want to get a guy. You want to get guys that love to. What does Gettleman say? Hate to lose versus love to win. Yeah. It seems like he's that kind of guy. He plays to the whistle blows. So yeah, that'd be exciting. And I think round 2, they could target a good tackle if a guy, like I said, if a guy like Cushenberry rises. I keep using him as an example because I'm obsessed with his tape. Maybe he's in there in round 3, maybe mid rounds. So you could trade up for him. I don't know, but I agree. I would love my ideal draft first right now is like a guy like Okuda or Simmons in round 1, and then go left tackle and then center in round 3.
I'm gonna probably start saying people that I don't want the Giants to draft because I can't remember the last time that I got their first round draft pick correct.
You did?
I can't remember the last one I had correct.
Well, it was funny because the year Ingram was drafted, I wanted O.J. Howard, and he was falling.
Came close.
Well, it was funny. We were like 2 picks away, right? What did we pick that year? What did we pick? 19? 18.
Yeah,
he went 16 to the Bucks. And I remember I'm sitting there. We're at pick 15, and they don't pick him. And I was like, trade up. Get your guy, Reese. Get your guy. And he refused to trade up. Howard went, and I was pissed. And then I was like, all right, get Ramczyk. And, of course, we didn't get Ramczyk. But, I mean, the year before that is what? Eli Apple. It's been blunder after blunder after blunder.
Eli Apple. Who was the year before that? Was it Eric Flowers that year? Eric Flowers?
Maybe. I think so, yeah.
Didn't nowhere near that. Odell didn't. I thought it was going to be. I wanted
Zach Martin.
Tampa Bay. No. Tampa Bay. Mike Smith.
Mm-hmm.
So I never get him right.
Somebody wrote, I can't remember the chat. If whoever wrote about the cornerback free agency, and then if Okuda falls, retype it and put it in because I can't scroll up for some reason. I don't know why it won't let me look past comments, but he had said basically from what I saw, if we sign a cornerback in free agency and Okuda falls to the 4, how will they evaluate that?
James Carty. If a Giants sign a quarterback in free agency and Okuda falls to 4, then how do they evaluate that?
Well, I think if they.
So Gettleman said today that you use the free agency to supplement and you draft
exactly, so you can take best player available.
Yeah, and I believe he's truthful in that.
Well, if they sign a free agent cornerback, I don't think they'll be looking cornerback in the draft. Yeah, I think that's a fair evaluation of the way they'll go about it. Just like if they sign a guy like, say, Ngakoue comes free and they sign him, I don't think they're going to be looking at pass rush.
You can never have too many good corners, okay? You can never have too many good corners.
And also, I mean, let's be honest. I will go back on that, though, because if Chase Young falls to 4 and we signed Yannick, they're definitely going to take Chase Young.
Oh, yeah. They're going to have people flying around then. Oh, my God. Can you imagine that? $22 million.
Oof. $22 million.
How did it go from 15 to 22 in like a week?
Listen, the guy's trying to talk. I don't want him. I don't want Yannick. I think he's too much of a diva. Like I said, I read to you before those stats for Leo. I think Leo's pretty damn good, and he's going to be a lot less money. I mean, I'm sorry.
I roll.
We already have him on the roster. We already spent the draft pick. Like, we got the money to spend. I don't know. Call me crazy. We don't need a cornerback. I disagree. Okuda is best player available. I probably agree with that.
All the way back in the chat, I saw someone saying if you're going to pick the best player available, it's
Hold on one
Jeremy
second.
Judy.
Hold on one sec. Hold on.
Yeah, sure. Let's see. If the Giants signed, we went over that one. 2017, we had 23rd pick.
Okay, yeah, that's right. We did. I agree. So I will disagree with whoever said that about Judy because I actually have CeeDee Lamb as the number 1 wide receiver in this draft class. So I disagree with you, sir.
I'm scrolling up. He said, player overall, not just like.
He thinks he's the best player in the entire draft.
It's him.
Yeah, I disagree. I like Jerry Judy. I think he's really good.
Corrected at 4. It would be him at 4.
No, he's not. I think CeeDee Lamb's better.
Yannick is the next Omeme. No.
So basically he's saying that he's the next bad contract we pass out. I don't want Yannick. I don't. I mean, if they get him, I'm going to root for him because he's a Giant, but it's just like, I don't want Jadeveon Clowney.
Omeme Omaha was like it wasn't a, that's not.
Omeme Omaha.
That wasn't like a huge contract. That was like.
It's like I say to people all the time. You can get as mad as you want about contracts you've signed. Omame was not this insane contract that's crippled us for years. Neither was Kareem Martin or Jonathan Stewart or Antonio Bethea. What do we say? Here we go. We have DeAndre Baker and Corey Ballantyne. We aren't contending. This is what I hate about the Giants fans. There's no patience.
Hold on. Read his next comment.
He wrote the same thing twice.
Yeah.
I have patience, but cornerback is a position that you always need. Listen, we've been bad for a very long time, my friends. The patience has run out. It's time to compete. I don't care if we're going to win 8 games this year, or if we're going to win whatever. You need to take the best player on the board, and if Okudah's there, that's the guy.
I'm going to clap because LA Yankee King is padding my stats. He's on he's on Facebook, one he's on YouTube, one he's on Twitch, and he got Periscope over here. Pad my stats, bro. I love it.
He's got like 5 monitors up, and he's like...
I'm like, man, the chat is busy with all these. I'm like, wait a minute. I'm here on one laptop, and he's on like 16 different devices going.
He's got the iPad, the phone, he's got the monitor, he's got the laptop out, he's got the PlayStation pulled up. My man is ready to roll.
The whole deal.
Oh man, that's actually hilarious. I just don't think that it's. We're not going to the Super Bowl this year. Everybody knows that. It's very realistic for us to play good competitive football. I think last year we left a lot of wins on the table. Told you there were 6 games that we blew in the second half. Those 6 games go the other way. Come on. I mean, we're
6-10, 6-10, 7-9. We're playing hard. That shows you something, you know.
You mean this year coming up?
Yeah, coming up.
Yeah, but the reality of it is, it's been a lot of bad coaching on top of the other stuff that's going on. There was no talent on defense. Offensively, our offensive line was bad. We had injuries across our entire wide receiver core. Before the season started, Corey Coleman tore his ACL. Sterling Shepard had a broken finger. Golden Tate was suspended. Evan Ingram's hurt. I mean, there was a lot of injuries. Saquon Barkley goes down.
Let me join the show, and I will tell you what the Giants need to do.
Oh, God. My blood pressure's been high already, Mark. I don't know if I could do it.
You hit the gym up?
Yeah, I've been hitting the gym. Listen, let me get my blood pressure to a better state before we do that.
Oh my God! Yeah, I don't know if I could deal with it.
Anthony Seals, if Connolly can come back healthy, we get Simmons. I think that could be dangerously good. I've been really unsure about. A lot of people have been banging the table for Connolly.
If Connolly comes back and we get a healthy Simmons, I think we could be dangerously good.
I'm sorry, I just don't think banking on a guy like we said it yesterday. He's a luxury.
Yeah,
he played 2.5 games and he looked slow. He made some good plays. He had a nose for the football. He seems like he's a really smart football player. I just don't think you rank him as he's not anything right now. He's literally a luxury.
Yeah, I don't think you're building around him, obviously.
And also an ACL injury, I mean, you don't know how he's going to come back. He could come back a completely different football player. I mean, those are very tricky injuries. I know they happen a lot and they're more common nowadays, but it doesn't mean he's going to be the same player. So I think I get what you're saying. I appreciate it. I just don't agree that you bank on that.
If Gettleman gets fired and Jones plays mediocre, I'll be pissed we missed out on Tua.
Listen, I love Tua. I really do.
That's if Tua is actually...
Tua, listen, let's look at it from this perspective, Marco. And I don't know if you can do it off the top of your head. Maybe you could do a little research real quick. Name me a quarterback that has had the injury history that Tua has in college that came to the NFL and was healthy for a long career. It's not very common. You got guys...
I can't think of one.
Yeah, guys that are injury-riddled in college, most of the time, guys that are injury-riddled in early parts of their career, it usually carries out throughout their career. Now, you do have players, one that I can think off the top of my head, a guy like Frank Gore. He got hurt quite a bit in the beginning, and look at him now. He's like Iron Man. Adrian Peterson tore his ACL. He had that bad injury. Or was it his Achilles in college?
College, I don't remember his injury history in college.
Shit, now you're going to make me look it up. Regardless, I'll look it up in a minute. The point I'm making is when a guy has an injury history, especially a quarterback like that, where it's different stuff. He has an ankle that he's had issues with. Look at Leonard Fournette. This is the first year he's been healthy in years. He has a bum ankle. Guys like that, they consistently have those issues. It carries out throughout their career, and you find it to be a common trend for them. I love Tua's talent, but I wouldn't sit around and hope that he's going to be the guy because of, he played in a prolific offense. I think he'll be very good, but I don't know. I wouldn't be upset. I think Daniel Jones shows a lot of promise.
Someone said, name me a QB who hasn't had a major injury, and now everyone's going Eli in the comment section.
Hey, there you go.
I was going to say Eli. Tua is not made of glass, plays hero ball. That could be coached out of him.
Yeah, but he still has the injuries.
Yeah, the damage might be done.
Yeah, listen, I don't think he's made of glass, but it's the same argument people make for Carson Wentz. And, I remember Daniel Olevsky was really freaking flying off the handle that were people going off the handle about Carson Wentz being injury prone. He's like, oh, he got a concussion. The guy smacked him in the back of the head. If a guy gets hurt every year, he's injury prone. I don't really care if it's a different injury or what the scenario is. You have some guys that don't and some guys that do. Eli got the crap beat out of him for a year, and his freaking foot was torn. He had shoulder issues. He had all these different things that happened throughout his career. He kept playing. Some guys they aren't built like that.
It's rare. Eli,
name another quarterback
amazingly
like that.
Rare.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, Phillip Rivers, he played on... Didn't he tear his ACL and he played like a couple weeks later? Was it in the championship? What game was that?
He's been pretty much of an Iron Man as well, but not...
Yeah, he's played very tough.
Yeah.
But look at Big Ben. He's always freaking injured. He's missed games left and right. So, I mean, it's just not common.
Why is everyone going crazy because he's throwing now? He threw like a 3-yard pass in a gym.
Dude, he looked a little heavy. He was wearing a loose shirt. And people, he's so fat. He's this. It's like, dude, Big Ben's always been a big guy. Like, what did you expect him to drop 40 pounds?
His name is Big Ben.
Yeah, they literally named him that because he's so big. I don't think that Tua is injury prone. No, thank you. Is Daniel Jones a guarantee? No, nothing's a guarantee.
No,
I think
not at all.
One of the things I agree with James on that he's said quite a bit, you got to give these quarterbacks 2-3 years before you truly evaluate them. And that's with a lot of positions. I mean, the NFL's a little bit different nowadays. You pick a guy high, you expect him to perform immediately because that's what it's a business. It's a performance business. It's wins and losses. I think Daniel Jones, if you watch his game tape and you really study him, you don't just sit there and you watch, a couple highlights on YouTube. You really study the way he plays the game and the way he approaches it. I think he has a lot of the intangibles you want in a franchise quarterback.
Let me tell you, he brought the excitement factor.
Hell yeah, he did, dude. There was a couple games there.
I was like, oh!
Yeah. And it all started with the Buccaneers game. When you're watching that game, like, he has that I don't know if you want to call it the clutch gene, because, I mean, he didn't truly show it yet. But, I mean, even the Washington game, I know people were mad because they're like, oh, it's a meaningless game. Like, it's fun football. You know what I mean? You get a quarterback that can come out there and really play some football. He's competitive. I think he has a lot of the intangibles you want in a franchise guy.
Tore his ACL and played Brady in the divisional round. That's what happened.
There you go. I knew it was a divisional round game. So yeah, he was a tough guy too, but he's no Eli Manning.
Thank you, James Carty. LA Yankee King is 100% wants to join the show, and he will show the Giants offensive line. Did you
Listen, man? I'll tell you like I tell all the GMs on Twitter. If anybody was that much of an expert, you wouldn't be on Twitter. You'd be in a front office making decisions. We're all fans. We all have our opinions. I respect them all. But at the end of the day, the Giants aren't trading every single player for picks. It's just not going to happen. It's unrealistic. They're in the middle of a rebuild. They have a nucleus they're building around. Let's see what happens. It's year 3.
I'm tempted to send him a link.
No, don't do it. I can't. My blood pressure. I like Jones. I just feel like he's not elite. Might be tier 3 like Dak. I think we said it yesterday. I could see his ceiling being like top 10, top 12.
You think Dak is tier 3?
Dak is not tier 3, my friend. I didn't even catch that when I read it. I read out some stuff. Let me see if I have it saved. This is actually pretty cool.
How many people are in the tiers?
Yeah, I know. That's. I think that's a little. Let's not be biased New York fans. Dak has been very good. Where is it?
I would think he would be. I think he would be a tier 2 quarterback.
Dak's definitely a top 10 quarterback. I mean, as much as you want to talk about him. Come on, where is it? Hold on, I'll find it.
Go ahead, search.
It was tweeted out. When was it? You can talk, Marco. I'm just trying to find this because I thought it was interesting stats-wise. Oh, here you go. Okay. So Brad Kelly had tweeted out 216. According to Pro Football Reference, advanced passing stats, Dak Prescott's on-target throw percentage, on-target throws excluding spikes and throwaways, was 77.6%. For comparison, you have Pat Mahomes at 77.2, Russell Wilson at 76.3, Aaron Rodgers 74.7, and then it goes down. Then here, we talk about Fantasy Football 24/7. He's a really great follow if you like fantasy football. He was talking about people put too much emphasis on draft capital. Through 4 years, Dak Prescott has over 15,778 passing yards, 100 total touchdowns. His completion percentage is at 66%, 40 wins. He's never missed a game. I mean, if I told you that you were going to get 4 years out of your quarterback and that's what he was going to give you, would you be pretty excited about it?
If you told me, repeat that?
That you were going to get 4 years and you were going to have over
4 years with Dak stats?
Yeah, 15,778 passing yards, 100 touchdowns, a 66% passer rating and or completion rating, and 40-plus wins.
He's also had dominant offensive line, dominant running back, dominant receivers. Mm-hmm. He's been blessed, but he's a good player.
He's made the most of what he's had, is the point.
I signed up for this program that automatically tweets out for me like stuff on YouTube, and it gave a shout out to Cruisin26.
What did it say?
It said, "Thank you, Cruisin26, for the light blue super chat message on YouTube." But it's there. Look at that. All right, tier 1. He's breaking it down. Tier 1 is loaded. Ready?
Okay.
Mahomes, Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers?
Yes.
Nah, this is already bad. Aaron Rodgers isn't even in top. You know, Aaron Rodgers, if you look at his stats compared to Daniel Jones, they were this, like, I'll pull this up. This will be fun. Keep going.
That's all he put. That was tier 1.
That's not tier 1. You have Pat Mahomes, Russell Wilson.
Tier 1, Mahomes and Rodgers. Tier 1, that's it.
No. I'm sorry. I
It's an elite group.
Let's see. Johnny Kinsley. Very, 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 very good follow on Twitter. He breaks stuff down. All right, so this is the deep ball project. Aaron Rodgers, 43.75% on his deep balls. Right behind him at 23 was Daniel Jones at 43. The leader was Kyler Murray at 61. Aaron Rodgers was not elite this year. I'll send this over to you on Twitter, Marco, so you have it. But it breaks down Daniel Jones. It breaks down every quarterback, and I think it was a really well done project to show kind of where players were really at. Kyler Murray was a lot better than people give him credit for this year if you look at the stats.
Bold
All
prediction.
right. Bold prediction. What do we got?
LA Yankee Kings hit me from multiple.
Hey, if anything, this
Daniel-
guy's gonna rock your engagement, man.
Daniel Jones will be an elite quarterback in 3 years.
Who said that?
Your LA Yankee King.
Whoa! All right, man.
Maybe we should trade him now before that happens.
Yeah.
Imagine what we could get for him.
Whew. I can get 3 firsts for that guy.
Right? Tier 1, Holmes Rogers.
I would say your tier 1 is probably going to be mixed up with Mahomes, Russell Wilson.
Has to be.
I'd say Deshaun Watson's probably up there. I don't know if it's too early to call Lamar Jackson. You don't like Watson?
I like him. I don't know about tier 1.
He's right there. I mean, if he's not tier 1, he's tier 1A.
2. So I would go Wilson. I love Russell Wilson. Mahomes. I think Aaron Rodgers is there, obviously. Come on, look at the body work, not just like recent.
Yeah, but I'm talking about right now this year. I'm not talking about career-wise. Like, you could put Lamar Jackson in tier 1 as of this year. I just don't think Aaron Rodgers is that quarterback anymore.
Yeah, Mike A on Periscope, he thinks Watson's in there too.
Dude, when you watch Lamar, Deshaun Watson, some of his throws are ridiculous, man. What he's able to do, especially his deep ball accuracy, it's disgusting. I think he was number 3. He was 60% on his deep ball accuracy. He threw 70 balls this year. I mean, the guy likes to chuck it. I mean, especially when you watch him play, man, he's like a magician back there.
Did you see Lamar Jackson's in the Pro Bowl? They did the skills competition.
Oh my God, it was hilarious. People were roasting that guy.
It was bad though.
It was really bad. Like, I remember I watched the video like 4 times because I thought it was so funny. I was like, because he's a good quarterback and people are hard on him. But I was like, Jesus, this guy, he couldn't hit anything.
Because he's instinctual, he can make things happen, stuff like that.
Yeah, he's a good football player.
But like, when you have like defensive linemen with like zipping passes in, it's just like no.
Yeah, man, it was pretty bad. It's fun to watch.
The Pro Bowl in general is bad, but then the skills competition, I was like, all right, I can get down with it. It was just like,
yeah. The Pro Bowl's gotten terrible. It really has. It's more of just like a flag. They should just make it flag football at this point. They really should, because these guys don't tackle.
Defensive linemen, they just like they get in stance and then
they're like.
And I was like, they just why even put them on?
I'll tell you too. You'll laugh at this one. So, Ryan Dunleavy, I really liked him as a beat writer. I feel like he's kind of fallen into that Pat Leonard, Lombardo.
You want me to get it? You want me to get him on? Is he tweeting now?
No, he tweeted earlier. And he was saying, Giants understand they need more defensive playmaker, veterans who can lead and play. Gettleman says part of the problem is the lack of homegrown stars. Reminder, they let Landon Collins go for nothing in return. Well, one, that's a lie. They got a comp pick for him. And I understand what he's saying. They should have traded him earlier. I know James, if he was on the show, he'd be slamming the table, screaming, and no one would be able to hear out of their microphone because he'd be going on about how they should have traded him sooner. And I do agree. They shouldn't have waited if they were going to trade, if they weren't going to re-sign him. I don't know if they thought they were or they weren't, whatever the scenario was. But if you look at the stats for what Antonio Bethea did last year and what Landon Collins did last year, Bethea's 35 years old, Collins is 26 years old. Collins played 15 games, Bethea played 16 games. Collins had 117 tackles, Bethea had 110 tackles. 2 forced fumbles for Landon Collins, 2 fumble recoveries for Bethea, 1 sack for Collins, 1 interception for Bethea. Bethea has a $3.25 million guaranteed contract out of $6.5 million for 2 years. Landon Collins is a 6-year, $84 million contract, $32 million guaranteed. What would you prefer? For the identical stats.
Don't let the stats confuse you. Go by the eyeball test.
The eyeball test says Landon Collins is a liability in coverage.
The eyeball test says he's going up in.
He's not going up. His best season
to his prime. Bethea is on the
whoa,
out of his prime.
Listen to me, Marco. I
Way
respect what
past
you're
his
saying,
prime.
but you're very incorrect with the going up. He's regressed as a player, not gotten better. Do you remember what he did? Remember how good he was? We were all beating the table for him to win Defensive Player of the Year. What happened since then? You know what year that was, right?
2 years ago.
It's 2016, bro. What year is it? 2020.
It wasn't 2016 the Defensive Player of the Year. That's
2016 was the year we wanted him. He had 125 tackles, 4 sacks,
that was
1 fumble
2016.
recovery. Yeah, bro. 5 interceptions. 2016.
I thought it was 2 years ago. Not this year.
2017.
2017 is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, no, it was 2016. 2018 is when he got hurt. 2017, he had an okay year. He had less tackles. He had no sacks, 2 fumble recoveries, 2 interceptions. Decent year. Not great, not bad. But he's years removed from that elite season.
How many snaps did he play compared to Buffet? Is he left out there?
How many snaps? He averaged...
If you have it there. Don't go crazy.
Yeah, I got it right here. He averaged roughly a little over 70. Bethay, you got... Let's see. Bethay averaged... Actually, more. Well, close in range. Around 70-75% snaps. I mean, I can't do the math that quick, but close. Point being is they both were bad in coverage, yeah, but you're getting similar production from a safety, and you're telling me you want to pay a guy $84 million?
Saving money. No, but you could have traded him and got a comp pick. A comp.
We don't know what the market was. I know Matt Miller wanted to tweet out that whole there was a team offering a first-round pick. Art and all those guys, Dan, they all said that wasn't true. They said no one offered a first-round pick. I mean, we can kill Gettleman all we want. You're telling me if a team came to you with a first-round pick on a guy that was on his last year of his contract, you're not going to say, okay? Come on. He would have done it. Plain and simple.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know.
People want to assume one way. Let's assume this way. Like, if someone offered a first, you would have taken it. Now, I heard there was third round picks that were offered, which I think is much more realistic, but maybe they didn't feel that it was worth it for them, and they were going to re-sign him, and then they decided otherwise. They watched the tape and they said, you know what, he's not worth the kind of money that he's going to want, and he got an $84 million contract. He's not worth that.
No, I didn't want to pay him. I didn't want to pay him so hugely, and I thought, no player is taking hometown discount anymore. And I
mean, Shaq Barrett says he will, but I think that's because he knows what he did last year isn't going to happen again.
And I don't blame a player, man. You got to get paid, especially in this climate, man. Get paid.
Dude, I respect it. I had no hard feelings about Landon. Now when he started taking shots and, that whole situation went down with the way he exited and, then he pulled Caden Smith down by the collar in that Washington game. I was a little like, all right, dude, you obviously got some animosity towards the Giants, which is fine. I mean, he said, I want to retire a Giant. So I'm sure it did hurt him the way it went down, and I can respect that. It's a business, but these guys are people. They're not just pieces. They're individuals with emotions, and I'm sure it was upsetting, but he's not worth that kind of money, bro. Now, I do agree they should have traded him sooner, but it is what it is. We got a third-round comp. We'll see what they do with it.
How do you want to end this? Anything you want to touch on? I think
we touched on quite a bit. I know we kind of reiterated some points from yesterday's show.
2 days in a row. Boom.
Yeah, we're giving you guys content.
We talked about Joe Judge. We talked about Dave Gettleman. We brought up multiple picks. Simmons, Okuda, offensive tackles. Boring. Chase Young dropping. Probably not going to happen.
Yeah.
We trashed Landon Collins for a solid bit of time. What else?
I like Landon. I want to end with the fact that I do like Landon Collins. I think he's a great person and he's a good football player, but he's not worth that kind of money.
I agree.
What I guess we can end on, unless you got something else.
What do you want to end on?
We can end on just your overall, I guess, perception from today's press conferences. I know you and I disagree with the fact that I think Gettleman's not in charge in the way that he was, and you feel he is. But just overall, I mean, what you're hearing, I mean, I know it annoys you with looking at, how Judge talks, and you're like, yeah, he says a lot, but, like, is he going to win?
I'll give you something that I liked what he said. Ready? Pulling tight. He said that he is not going to sign players similar to veterans that we've done in the past. Smith.
Yep, he made a good point about that.
that it's the coach's job to coach, and not the players. So no veteran presence to tutor or mentor.
No Jonathan Stewarts.
No Stewarts. No Omaha Omemes. No, none of those.
The way you say his name kills me. Omame.
I butcher them all.
That's all right. I don't care. No, I agree. I did like what he said. I did like what he said when he was talking about, basically we're bringing in players that are a veteran presence that are going to make an impact on our team, not players that are going to coach our players for us. That's our job. I respected that a lot because I think a lot of people were frustrated with, feeling like Gettleman kind of handed out scholarships to guys. Like, I like this player. I think he can do a lot, but he's going to mentor my guys.
20 million.
Honestly, I think that, unfortunately, I don't want to throw shots here at old people, old regime, but I think that was kind of a shot at Shermer because it's like, do you feel like you need your players being coached by other players because you don't trust your staff to do it? Do you get that point?
Was that a shot at Shermer, or was that a shot?
Or maybe just a shot at the coaching staff? Because think about it, like if your mindset as a general manager is, I need players in here that know what they're doing so they can teach my players. Are you not trusting your coaches to do it well enough? Because that's what I hear when I hear that. It's like you don't trust your hierarchy to do what's necessary for the guys down here to get what's necessary. So you need the guys that are mixed in, basically re-coaching them.
I kind of thought of it initially hearing it like, he's telling Dave Gettleman, we don't need him. I got it. So I didn't think of it as a shot at Shermer, but I could see it being taken that way.
I don't know. I mean, and I don't think there's any bad blood between him and Shermer. I think Shermer realized, like I told you, dude, people can get as mad as they want. They can call Shermer the fall guy. I do believe he was in some ways, but I don't think he was ever the right hire. Which Gettleman was a part of that process, but I think that was Mara being so fed up with McAdoo and the way that situation went down. He brought in a guy he felt like was going to be the adult in the room. Shermer coached himself out of a job, dude. I mean, that's just what it is. I mean, we watched the same games. Any Giant fan can tell you the guy sucked as a coach. He was not a good head coach.
Come on, the first press conference when they were announcing Saquon Barkley, he looked like someone murdered his dog.
And he looked the same way with Daniel Jones. People destroyed. I remember Ryan.
He's like that.
Ryan Clark, dude. He went on for weeks. He's like, this guy doesn't even want him as a player. And he's like, I love Daniel Jones. And then we find out that he was one of the driving forces with drafting Daniel Jones. So I just think that's just how Shermer looks. He just looks like he hates his life.
Oh my God. Oh God. Hey, listen, he rebounded quickly.
Oh, dude, he knew he would. He's a phenomenal. That's what I've said about a lot of these coaches. People hated on Freddie Kitchens. They hate on a lot of these guys when they fall out of favor. Even Jason Garrett. They're good coaches. They're just not meant for the roles that they're in. I don't think that. I think a lot of the issues with Dallas had to do with Jerry Jones as well. Also, Jason Garrett underperformed as a coach at times, when it came to game management and decision making and things like that. But some of these guys just aren't built for those roles. It's like I've had managers where they were great in the role they were in. They got promoted to that role, and they were just not cut out for a leadership role. They didn't understand people. Maybe they weren't able to really teach individuals the proper way, or whatever it may have been that they had to learn in that role. So I don't know. I think Shermer's a great coach, a great person. I think he's a phenomenal offensive coordinator. I think he's a horrible head coach. And I'm just hoping that we have the true CEO in the building that's able to orchestrate all this appropriately. But I will tell you this. If anything, I think on Sundays, Thursdays, Mondays, we will be prepared. We may suck, but I think we will be prepared for everything. And that's one thing it's been a very long time.
So next show, maybe we take a blood pressure medication. We stay hydrated. We have aspirin.
You're giving me oxygen.
Everything.
My ulcers. Oh, God.
I already feel them.
My ulcer's burning, bro. Gotta take a Pepsin. Hold on.
I'm popping them right now. And we'll see what's going on. I think that's it.
I don't have anything else for you, man.
No, there's nothing. Unless you want to go into like 7th round picks. First of all, if you're doing 7th round mock draft picks, you're just an asshole. Okay.
At this point, yeah. I mean, so much is going to change, man. I do you have any sleepers as of right now we can end on? Anybody that you're like, man, this guy's going to be great. No one's talking about him.
No, none. I'm like barely touching the 2nd round with players. I'm like, oh, look at it.
Oh, Marco, you got to start doing some studying, man. I got a couple guys. I'll save that for another show. I got a couple guys I really like, but a lot's going to happen. A lot's going to change. A lot of information will come out on guys. Guys will rise. Guys will fall. It's what happens every year. I'm just waiting for the first trade, man. Because remember when the Jets traded up to 3, it was like 6 weeks outside of the draft, 2018 for Darnold. So we're getting close enough. We're a month away, right? A month from the draft?
Is it? No, it's a little more than that, no?
2 months. I'm sorry. I keep thinking I'm in March, man. My head's in another month. Yeah, so we're about 2 months out of the draft, but
February's so short.
Yeah. We're tomorrow. Yeah, we're almost done. It'll be interesting, man. It'll be very interesting to see, who trades up, who trades down, what decisions are made, what quarterbacks teams fall in love with.
So classically, we wanted to get on, do a half hour, 1:15 into it. It's like,
hey, we like talking football. That's a good thing, right? It's better to have enough to talk about than not enough.
Yeah, we'll just talk, about what happened at the combine, the interviews.
Yeah.
Hours later.
Yeah, my wife's texting me, when are you coming out? When are you done? Yours is yelling down.
Yeah. I'm in the basement.
Bring the meatloaf.
All right, everyone. I will talk to everyone probably tomorrow. We'll see what's going on.
All right. Peace, brother.
Peace.